everyone and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to do basic tubular herringbone. I was planning to work on the herringbone necklace, but then I realized that I have a very unconventional way of attaching clasp there. So before I do that, I wanted to show you a very basic way, which is you start with the ladder stitch and then you build on top your herringbone, and in the end, you just glue some sort of caps. But here I already have a clasp that's already tubular and you can just glue them on. I've been using them a lot on my tubular bracelets and they're all magnetic, but this one is not magnetic. This one is like a vacuum sort of, because it's a rubber in there, and when you push it there, it just stays, so it creates sort of a vacuum there. So it's very sturdy. It's not gonna just come out of your hand, but it's quite hard to put it on your own as well. Let me try if I can do it. I usually ask Gordon to do this. Yeah, I don't think I can do it. It's just, you have to quite hard push this in. But then again, they are sturdier than the magnetic clasp because they're just gonna stay on your hand. So we're gonna work on this exactly same bracelet, but today I'm gonna be using turquoise so you can see what I'm doing. To go with it, I'm gonna be using white Nymo, beading needle size 10, scissors to cut the thread, same clasp, and then in the end you'll need a glue to attach your bracelet to the clasp. So I'm gonna be using this, it's jewelry adhesive, but I don't know, some sort of German glue. And you'll need a pick. You can use a toothpick, you can use a piece of wire, anything really, just to spread the glue inside of the clasp. So go ahead, thread your needle with I would take about 2 yards. I will tell you later if 2 yards was enough or not, because it's been quite a long time I did this. So I'm gonna take 2 yards and then we'll get to work. So I have all my materials ready and we'll just go ahead and get to work. Now, with my thread, I took about 2.5 yards. I just took 2 wingspans, which turned out to be 2.5. So I might end up with a lot of thread, or it might be just enough. So I'm gonna pick up 8 11 Tohos. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I picked up 8 11 Tohos. I'm gonna drop it down. I'm gonna leave a short tail that I can sew in later. It doesn't have to be long, just to sew in. And then I'm gonna hold it down like this. Now this is where my thread's going. I'm gonna take my needle, pick up the 4th bead and the 3rd bead down. 4th and 3rd one going downwards, and pull the thread. And that creates a ladder stitch there. Again, I'm just gonna hold it down. I suppose I should zoom in now a bit. I'm gonna pick up that next 2 beads going downwards and pull the thread. That creates the 3rd unit in the ladder stitch. And then I'm gonna pick up the last 2 going downwards. Then when I pull my thread, you can see all of them in a ladder stitch. Now I have to connect it into a circle. So I'm just gonna hold it in place. Gosh, it's difficult to work with such a small thing. Now my thread's going downwards. I'm gonna go upwards the other end. See? I'm gonna go upwards. And then back again, downwards, through the same place where my thread was coming out of. So basically I'm connecting 2 ends and pull the thread. And we have our ladder stitch base, a square. Easy peasy. Now we continue building our herringbone. I'm gonna pick up 2 beads. See where my thread's coming out of? I'm gonna go down the next 1 bead and pull the thread. You can just help out the beads a bit. Go up the next 1 bead, and pull the thread. Pick up 2 beads, go down the next one. Even though I call it tubular herringbone, it is tubular herringbone. It's just we are working with only 2 herringbone units. That's why it turns into a square. So see, it's a square shaped herringbone. It's just because you're working with 2 units. And now here, we finished the first row of herringbone. And now I have to step up. What I do, I go through the next neighbor and straight up the second one as well. And pull the thread. Okay. Pick up 2 beads. Go down the next one. Just 1 bead. And pull the thread. Go up the next one. Pick up 2 beads. And go down the next one. So you are on your way, tiny herringbone. And now go up the next 2 beads. We are stepping up to the 3rd row. Just remember, in herringbone, you don't pull your thread too hard. You just pull enough so you don't have loose threads, but you don't pull it too hard. Otherwise, you'll end up straightening all your herringbone effect. Pick up 2 beads. Go down the next one. Go up the next. Pick up 2 beads. Go down the next. And then step up, going through both here. Like if I just hold it, look. You have your herringbone going on. Oh dear. And now, I just pick up 2 beads. Go down the next bead. It's so much easier than the flat herringbone, isn't it? Because in flat herringbone, it's really hard to, you shouldn't pull at all. Like you really have to have it loose all the way until the very end. But with tubular, it seems much easier because you pull your thread a bit harder. And because we are not working with the delicates, it's easier to work with the round beads in herringbone. So, well, that's my opinion anyways. You might have different experience from me. Pick up 2 beads, go down the next one. And step up, going through 2 beads. So that's how you just go on all the way until you have your required length. This is the herringbone. I'm gonna show you one more row how to do this, and then I'm gonna let you continue on your own. I'm gonna pick up 2 beads, go down the next one. Go up the next bead. Pick up 2 beads, go down the next one. And then pull the thread and step up. And you just continue all the way until you have required length. Now, I don't know what type of clasp you're using. You might be just adding a normal clasp, or you might have a tubular cap that you can also glue on, or you are using same as me. So just get the required length minus the length of your clasp. My clasp doesn't give me much length, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get the full length, and once I add the clasp, it will just give me extra room. So I'm gonna meet you here once you have your full length, and I'm gonna show you how to finish it off, and then we're gonna attach the clasp. So I went ahead and finished the full length. Now I had just enough thread. I had 2.5 yards. It was just enough for my length. Now this length is 17 centimeters of herringbone. if you are doing same or less, 2.5 yards is fine for you. But if you are doing larger size bracelet, I suggest you take longer thread, 3 yards or more. But if you are not comfortable working with long threads and you still prefer to take 2 yards or even less, in the description box I will leave a link to a short video called how to add a thread to tubular herringbone. Go ahead and check that out if you don't know how to do that yourself. Now we're gonna go ahead and finish this bracelet. Now when you start with ladder stitch, you want to finish the other side the same way. So the easy way is we're just gonna turn that top 2 rows of herringbone into ladder stitch, and all we do is just connect them between each other. Now that's I just added this last 2 herringbone units. I'm just gonna go up this unit here, and then I'm gonna go back these 2 beads. And what it does, it connects those 2 beads together. Now I'm gonna go back up here, pull the thread. See, they already look like ladder stitch. Turn it over, do the same thing here. Go down these 2 beads, go back up, pull the thread, go back down, go up here now, connecting these 2 units here between each other. That's all you do, just connect them between each other. Then go down here, it's quite tight in there. Okay, go back up these 2 beads. Now here we are done connecting them like ladder stitch. Now in herringbone you would usually go down, make a couple knots and get rid of the tail, but here I did something different because this top is going to be hidden inside the clasp, so it doesn't really have to be nice. So what I do, I just take my thread here and make knots on top. I don't have to take my thread down, creating knots down. All I do is just go some beads here, go up. It doesn't have to look pretty because this part is going to be hidden inside the clasp. All you want to make sure is it's going to be nice and strong. You don't want it to, you know, threads to come apart. So all I do is just randomly go between beads as long as you're at the top. I'm just gonna come down these 2 beads, remove my needle, and cut the thread. And now you're done. See, I made knots at the top. It doesn't look messy, but all I'm just saying is that you don't have to take your needle down because this part is going to be hidden. And if you end up with a mess, it doesn't matter. It will still be inside of the clasp. See, that's what we're gonna do. So you can go ahead, do the same thing on the other side. You know, make a couple knots, get rid of the tail, and then we're gonna come back here and I'm gonna show you how to attach the clasp. So I have my materials ready to glue the clasp. Apart from all the mentioned materials, I just have a paper towel, so in case, you know, I don't want to damage my desk with the glue. And then I have a big spool of Nymo. I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna use that for in a bit. So I'm just gonna take one side of the clasp. I'm gonna pour a bit of glue. You don't wanna pour a lot, just enough to add on the sides and stuff. So that should be plenty for this tiny one. And then I'm gonna take my pick and just, you know, push it in on the sides and stuff. Then I'm just gonna make sure there is no glue on the outside of the clasp. I'm gonna take one side of the bracelet, I'm just gonna push it in. By the way, this clasp is 5 mm. That's the only size that works with the 2 rows of herringbone with 11 Tohos. If you are using different size of beads or different number of units, you might want to check first what type of clasp you can use. So I pushed as many beads as I can, so one side is ready. I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. Just want to make sure it's not crooked or anything. Okay, and then on the second side I'm gonna do the same thing. Just pour a bit of glue. And spread that glue inside. And push the second side in. And now when it's done, all I do, I just put it over. Well, I think this spool is quite small. I need something bigger. I'm gonna take 2 spools of Nymo and just put it on top of this like that. So the reason I do that, to keep this clasps vertical. So if, I don't know what kind of glue you have, if it's too liquidy, you don't want them to leak out of the clasp and damage your work. So that's why you leave it like that overnight, and then you can wear it next day. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. Well, I'm not gonna wait for the night to finish this tutorial, but I think you understand what I mean. So next day, you just leave it overnight like that, let it dry completely, and then you can go ahead and wear it. And then I'll have these 2 gorgeous bracelets. So I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorials. This is basic tubular herringbone. Now in the future I'll be doing another herringbone long necklace, which is part of my project long necklace, if you've heard about it yet. I did it in the last, I started in the last tutorial. So I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial. I hope you learned something new, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.